Now, first, may I request Dr. Ramchander Garu to introduce himself and give an outlook of his contribution for the meat sector, sir. I can use this.
Good afternoon, all. I am Dr. Ramchander, Managing Director, Sheep and Goat Development Co-operative Federation, Government of Telangana. As all of you know that some flagship program Telangana is implementing in that mostly one is a sheep rearing development program. In this, actually, this program was started in the year 2017. During that period, Telangana state sheep population was 1.28 crore. After implementation of this program in the year 2019 and 2019, Government of India conducted a census on livestock. So Telangana stood number 1 position in sheep population. As well as meat production also has been increased, steep increase in meat production also seen. So actually in the year 2014-15, that meat production was 5.56 lakh metric tons and it has been increased to 10.05 lakh metric tons in the year 2021. And the sheep slaughter rate also in the year 2015, the slaughter took place in Telangana. Total sheep slaughter took place is 1.1 crore, that is 11 millions. And in the year 21-22, this slaughter has gone to 23 millions, 2.3 crores. Sheep has been slaughtered in Telangana. And meat production also, it has been increased. The main reason for implementation of this program in Telangana state is most of population in Telangana, almost 98.7% of Telangana people are non-vegetarian. They eat about 34% of country's mutton production in Telangana. And our sheep population also 26% of country's population is in Telangana. So the main reason for this actually meat industry, actually even in our Telangana state, now each and every municipality, now this meat, hygienic meat and clean meat production, now Government of Telangana is taking care for this. Actually, previously these municipal slaughterhouses were not maintained properly and not in hygienic, and they were not used any veterinarian services for inspecting of these animals, healthy animals, slaughtering of healthy animals for this ante-mortem and post-mortem, all those purposes. And now government is taken a very serious view on this, and now each and every slaughterhouse is modernizing in Telangana now. And in almost our veterinarians are they are conducting this ante-mortem and post-mortem examination of this meat. And now hygienic, now we are getting some hygienic meat and clean meat in Telangana. But the main issue is this meat industry is, as all of you know, it's the highest polluter among the other agri industries. So this is also a main reason. Now this circular rural economy is very much required for to reduce these pollutants and reuse and recycling of all this actually byproducts, meat byproducts and wastage of this meat. So this is the main reason because of our government is taking care of this, even this food conclave also one of the topic included in this one. So meat industry, there is a scope, much scope for meat industry, and the government of Telangana is providing all sorts of healthcare and all vaccinations for animals, sheep and large animals also. And Here we have 4 export-oriented slaughterhouses also in Telangana, especially. But we are exporting. We are exporting mainly buffalo meat. Only 80 more than 82% of meat is nearly 80% of meat from Telangana we are exporting to almost several countries, Middle East and Philippines and other countries. In this, 80% of meat is buffalo origin meat. And some of them are poultry, some certain percent, remaining 20% in that poultry is there, and sheep and goat. Our exports are very minimal in sheep and goat meat. The main reason for this one is we have a huge market in Telangana. In international market, the cost of this mutton is lesser than our local local market. So in our Telangana,
Sir, we also hear that some 5-star hotels in Bombay, they import from Australia and other countries where the landed price is much cheaper than Indian
that's
mutton.
true. That's true. But we have a premium sheep here, sheep mutton, because some famous Dakkani breed is available in Telangana and Nellore breed also. They were used for this Hyderabadi biryani. It's just because of that reason, it tastes very differently. This Hyderabadi biryani. Dakkani sheep is a premium sheep. So, this other states, from other states and other countries also, they are importing this sheep meat, mutton, all those things. But the taste-wise, our meat is very popular. So, thank you.
That's the reason for the popularity of Hyderabad biryani.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so now I invite Mr. Vidyasagar from Japfa, India. What are all the various, let's say, initiatives that you have implemented from the company? You are a very prominent, feed company, and would you like to throw some light on?
Let's introduce the company and then probably we will then take the topic ahead. So that we'll initially take the introductions and probably. So to introduce our company, we are basically an Indonesian company listed on the Singapore Stock Exchange, $5 billion company operating in Indonesia, Vietnam, Myanmar, India and Bangladesh. In India, we are headquartered in Pune and we are largely into poultry feed in India with a small integration business, and we have just entered the processing and the direct D2C business in Pune city. From a perspective of sustainability or a circular rural economy, I think our motto itself, the founding father of the group himself had given us 50 years back the motto, growing towards mutual prosperity. So that's been our motto. And with that motto, we have always been looking at sustainability. Sustainability has been a very focused area for us. We have been releasing a lot of sustainability reports consistently over the last few years. We are one of the only poultry company, I would say, in Indonesia, which has raised a sustainability linked bond, $350 million, with designated sustainability targets to be achieved over the next few years, tied to the interest cost of the loan. And so there are a lot of things that we do basically globally. Also in India, with the small operations that we have, we can take it as we go forward.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. So now we have very important person, Mr. Saikesh, who has, started in a very novel startup. Yes. Very happy to see him here. Mr. Saikesh, can you please explain about your venture and then in your own words, please.
Hello everyone. I'm Saikesh Gaud. I'm the founder and CEO of Country Chicken Co. So I did my graduation from IIT Varanasi. Post that, I was working with the popcorn firm, and then later me and my co-founder Samiuddin, we started Country Chicken Co. The entire value proposition of Country Chicken Co. being offering naturally raised healthy chicken to customers. And what's better and what's more natural than the Natukodi Desi chicken that we talk about? But what I observed in this industry is there's a lot of demand in the retail side, but the entire supply chain is totally disturbed. It's not at all organized over there. And that has been a major reason for the lack of supply in the retail. And previously, we used to see a lot of households raising desi chicken in their backyards, but now the practice has been slowly reducing. That's due to the farmers' issues. A farmer is not unable to sell it to a buyer in the market. The entire ecosystem is not working in a proper way. That's the challenge that we are observing in this industry, and we are now integrated with almost 15,000 farmers, and all of them being the backyard poultry farmers. We supply them chicks, we ask them to rear them, and we are the people who buy it back from them. And in the retail side, we have a very unique value proposition. We have launched the world's first retail store, which is odorless, where there are live birds in present. The slaughtering happens in store, and the cutting happens in store, but still there's zero smell. You might have never seen a kid walking into a meat store, enjoying over there, a mother feeding her kid by just showing the live birds. That happens in our meat stores. So in a kind, we have created an experience center over there. And the reason for the experience center is to bring back the good old days of country chicken and make people's lives healthier. Yeah. So.
You also have plans to sell country chicken curry as well?
Yeah, sure. We are in the process of doing that. We look to sell marinades and the end products also, the ready-to-eat products.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, really.
You should be serving that popular ragi sangati and country chicken curry.
Yes, exactly.
Huh?
Yeah.
All the best to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now invite Dr. Praveen from Holocene. Please introduce and then brief about your company, please.
Yeah, very good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here addressing everybody here. I'm basically from academics background. I did my PhD in Germany in microbiology. And for 10 years I was there, and I was thinking, like, how can I contribute to the sustainable revolution that's going to come to India? And in 2018, I came back to India, and we ventured into this particular line of concept, wherein how do we bring insects back into the economy? So this is our primary motto. So what do you mean by bringing insects back into the economy? So in good olden days, you used to throw your food waste in the backyard, and insects used to come naturally, and then chickens used to eat the insects, and you used to eat the chicken. So informally, insects were part of the economy. You know it or not. But then as we have industrialized, what happened was the waste is congregated into huge waste management facilities, and this had led to huge greenhouse gases, leachates, ground pollution. There is no space for insects or any circularity in the entire food chain or any sustainability of the food chain. So this made us think, what kind of technology would solve this problem to bring back otherwise lost nutrients in the form of greenhouse gases and leachates back into the food chain, and thereby truly circularizing the food chain. So this was our primary motto that we have been working for the last 5 years, and we are glad I'm sitting here, and my team has been processing every day 600 tons of organic residues in different formats every day, and converting back into nutrients and preventing greenhouse gases that are otherwise being escaped, and all the negative effects that are caused by the organic waste. To be relevant to this panel, this clearly is a sustainable way of bringing the nutrients back into the food chain and giving back to the society in terms of jobs, in terms of value proposition, because the growing population needs more protein. How do you bring more protein? Do you want to empty the oceans for fish meal, or do more deforestation for the soybean? So there is an urgent need to find new form of protein, and insect protein can be that animal protein replacer in terms of fish meal replacer. Thank you.
And out of curiosity, what are the most popular insects you are now converting?
So only one insect we have been industrially working with, which is called black soldier fly, which is quite popular around the world and accepted in feed ingredients. Feed. For food, there are a lot more insects. We intend to work on them in future, but I think for now we are sticking. We have developed this core technology where it can find applications wherever there is organic waste available, either it can be food waste or industrial agro bioprocessing waste, or anything that is otherwise not fit to enter into the feed ecosystem again.
Right. Great, Dr. Praveen. Now we'll come back to Dr. Ramchander Garu. Sir, now you have explained the great efforts put in by the state government in terms of distributing the animals and then reviving the whole economy. But I also hear a couple of issues that the slaughtering happens at a very young age, and as well as, let's say, how to, let's say, add bit of processing capability into the hands of these growers. Is it possible technically or practically, or is it a rural based slaughterhouses can be in a, in a mini models? Is it in a practical suggestion? Or, I mean, the idea is that most of the farmers, I mean, whether agricultural or animal husbandry, etc., they are only growers, and then they are in the hands of some middlemen who exchange it for a small sum. But is there a possibility of adding processing into the hands of these farmers? Sir, please, your views.
Yeah, actually, as I told in this sheep rearing development program, actually in the first phase we inducted almost 83 lakh sheep in the state. Now we are planning and already it is under process. Very shortly we are going to start second phase of this program. In that actually we have planned for processing plants also. In rural processing plants also we are planned. And most of this community, actually they are uneducated and educationally very backward they are. So this usually they sell this ram lambs at the age of 4 to 5 months. It is a very tender age, and actually the main reason for selling at this age is to reproduction of this sheep again that should come after complete milking lactation period is over. No? Then only that animal comes into heat, and that reproduction process that will come a very late age. So just because of lactating animal, if that lamb is there with that mother, so it will give milk up to 5 or 6 months age. So they mostly they separate that young ones, the young males, and they will sell it at 4 to 5 months age. And the meat production also we are losing very much, because the meat production from that 4 to 5 months age is not more than 7 to 8 kgs. Actually production from this our Indian native sheep, it comes around 13 to 15 kg meat. But at a tender age they are slaughtering. So our department, especially, we are educating the farmers, and through our because network of hospitals, government is having more than 2,100 hospitals in Telangana. So our people now in the second phase of program, we are educating farmers, and we are establishing these rural slaughterhouses for even end-to-end all this meat production, processing, everything we are taking care in second phase.
Correct. Thank you, sir. So coming to Mr. Vidyasagar, what are the key initiatives, let's say, Japfa has, let's say, initiated in India in terms of circular economy, or let's say resource usage maximization? Can you throw some light on that?
Yeah. Now, when you look at circular economy, I mean, and if you really look at the UNDP report, which says by 2050 India has a potential to grow to up to $61 billion, is the potential of this. Now, when you look at circular, it emphasizes on the 3 R's: no? Reduce, reuse, recycle. First thing. The second part on the food side, basically, it looks at the output of one becoming the input of the other. So in that sense, the entire poultry farming is a circular business economy. Because why do I say that? Because one is the output of the feed. The feed mills basically goes into the input for the feed for the animals, the poultry animals, whether it's animals or cattle or aqua. And so in that way, it's this thing. Second thing, the DOCs become this thing for the contract farming. Now, specifically coming to India, in India, what we have done is, and especially in the feed mills, we have done a lot of sustainability activities. We have done a lot of recycling of water. We have looked at reduction of greenhouse gas emissions through use of biomass fuels for our broilers. Our boilers are green boilers. We are also looking at now, when the processing things coming in, we are looking at best of state-of-the-art technology slaughtering houses, where we can look at reductions of yield, how to recycle water, Basically, we are also setting up a state-of-the-art rendering plant where the waste of the slaughterers can be reprocessed and then it can become the food for the pet industry or the aqua industry. So those are the steps that we are looking at. And generally also in terms of sustainability, we are looking at how to reuse, recycle the other waste that we have. And also, one is skilling of the farmers to help them to improve farm management practices, which many of the guys in the poultry industry are doing. So that also in a way helps to improve the circular economy.
Thank you. I think what you said is becoming a global phenomenon, especially if you hear these words now. Previously, we used to call them as buzzword, sustainability or recycling or something like that. But now, corporates, companies who are working in this entire value chain are being rated based on the metrics.
Correct.
We call it as
Green bonds. There are green bonds which are coming in.
Bonds.
Yeah.
Then the whole concept of ESG, environmental and social and governance ratings. I think, as you know, the top 1,000 companies in India now, as mandated by SEBI, the government of India, they need to have some compliance metrics. They will be rated based on all their what practices they have in their entire value chain. So, what was a concept in the previous years, now it is becoming a reality, because when every company, let's say, producing some products are being equal, are same, how do they get a better edge in terms of, let's say, shareholders or in terms of investors or just in terms of ranking? So that's where the ESG comes in. So this resource maximization, wastage reduction, all these concepts essentially will become part of any corporate entity in the following years.
I mean, it's good to see, because actually good to see, but also sad to see that now the world has to tell us, the Western countries have to tell us sustainability. In fact, India has been right from, if you look at our childhoods, reuse, reduce, reuse, recycle was always a part and parcel of our lives when we grew up. As I know, when we
Correct.
also have been, we give respect to our trees, we give respect to our animals. That point in time, we have always taken care of the ecosystem. But somewhere as the economies grew, somewhere as we started galloping, I think we forgot all that
roots.
things, and now it's better to come take it back and bring it onto the main stage.
Right. Sai, coming back to you, let's say this country chicken, say I can also call it as a, let's say, colored birds business.
Not really.
Not really. Okay. So, what's the, let's say, role of, let's say, a rural entrepreneur or in a rural economy in your entire value chain? Can a rural youth become, let's say, a supplier to you or a vendor to you? How he can become a self-made entrepreneur? Can you share some insights?
So, firstly, the rural economy is all about small households. And when we talk about small households, they generally don't have a lot of investment capabilities or these things. And that's where the backyard poultry comes in. Backyard poultry is about growing 20 chicks or 50 chicks in their backyards. And it's grown without a lot of additional investment. The birds present over there, they just feed on the nature and they grow. And whatever price he gets, it acts as an additional income to him. Yeah, when compared to the regular white chicken that we compare, the growth cycle is a much longer here. But the advantage is, it's all the income that he gets, it's an additional income for him. And to build the rural economy, what I really believe is, it's about developing these small households. And when backyard poultry is able to act as an additional income for these households, that's where the entire ecosystem can be built over there. And secondly, regarding the opportunities for youth and these things, there's a concept of free range farming. There's a small shed where the birds can take shelter at night, and in the day they can roam in open places, they can graze on the open lands and come at. These can be sheds with almost something around 5,000 birds as flock size. So, 5,000? Yes. But not above that, because that's when it starts becoming a much more inorganic way. Yeah.
Any let's say, I believe more in numbers. So,
Yes.
Let's take an example of a rural youth who has passed out of his graduation or something like that and wants to come into your fold. Can you share some numbers? Let's say what could be potential his income or her income would look like, let's say, if he becomes a supplier to you?
Yeah. So the essential thing that we are doing over here is, these are all very small scale backyard poultry farmers. Each has a 50 or 200 flock size. So firstly, there's a person who's needed to aggregate all these farmers. So we are helping farmers in creating their own FPOs. Of a group of 100 farmers or 150 farmers, they come together and they form an FPO, out of which one farmer takes the lead and manages the trading of the FPO also, as in aggregating all the birds from these farmers and selling it to companies like Country Chicken Co. or any other things. So it's about building those ecosystem, and while the ecosystem is being built, these youth can be employed. And once an FPO is built, the subsidies or loans and many more facilities can be availed by them and empowering themselves.
Let's say a ballpark monthly income for, let's say, the final grower who is handling, let's say, 100 birds or 200 birds. Any number he can?
So approximately for every 1,000 birds, we can understand that he can earn 1 lakh rupees per 1,000 birds.
Fantastic. And with a growing period of?
4 months. So
4 months.
In a span of, let us consider 3 cycles in a year, 4 months each cycle. So it will somewhere around 3 lakhs.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sai. Finally, coming to Dr. Praveen, this whole sector of alternative proteins, is it, let's say, in line with the global trends, or what's the uniqueness of India? Where the opportunity?
Where these alternative proteins are coming from, they are not using new resources. They're using otherwise wasted resources. So they're kind of upcycling or salvaging the nutrients that are otherwise lost as greenhouse gases. So they're kind of supporting the the growing need for additional fish meal that has to be caught every year, from the oceans. So in a global framework, everybody is working and trying to make their supply chain as sustainable as possible. And insect protein cannot get, you cannot get more sustainable in your supply chain than including insect protein into your supply chain. So this is where alternative proteins like insect protein will play a crucial role going forward for every company who is trying to be, whether you can be a waste generator, whether you can be a fish meal consumer. So no matter who, you're rightly pointing out that ESG has been, kind of for first 1,000 companies, they're benchmarking. There are a lot of companies who generate a lot of waste, which they don't manage properly because the economist doesn't support to manage them properly. And insect technology offers them a right way to dispose any organic waste in an economically profitable way. So this is also one thing. I mean, you don't have to think, ESG is a kind of non-money maker or a money, it takes money from you. So it can, if you invest into right technologies, it can generate money for the companies who wants to attain those ESG goals. For example, I think last year we were talking to Alana Sons in Jahirabad for disposal of their sludge coming out of their ETP. They have, on high season, they have 70 to 80 tons of sludge coming out of their ETP plants. And black soldier fly technology has been a great solution for them. So we are trying to pitch to such industries who generate the waste. And Alana cells also happen to produce pet food, for example. They can include these insect protein and fats that are obtained from their waste management division and try to have their own profit into the more profit ecosystem. So like this I can go on and on application wise. So this is the broader picture.
Very well, very well. Thank you. We can open the floor for, let's say, a couple of questions.
Yes. Right. Thank you, sir.
But according to me, the backend is not as challenged as the broiler poultry division, the backend integration, because you're talking about an additional income to a household,
Yes.
rural woman,
Right.
who you just supply 20 chicks to them and they just leave them in the backyard and they grow on their own.
Right.
But how do you create the market and demand for this? Because Today, as per my knowledge, country chicken sells at a much higher or 30-35% higher price than broiler chicken, only in selected pockets. Wherein the targeted group of consumers are above 45, 50 years age as of now.
Yes,
Okay.
true.
So any plans on front end, how to create the demand and expand your horizon of targeted consumers? And especially in metros, because your targeted consumers are in rural area today, not in metros.
Right.
So what's plans basically around it?
So regarding targeting the end customer, firstly I would like to share a very surprising thing to all of you, that before starting this country chicken co journey, I myself consumed Natukodi country chicken only twice in my life. So I can very honestly say that I was not a consumer of it. But when I just started realizing the health benefits of it and the way the chicken is grown, and moreover, the reason I was not eating country chicken was it had a lot of bones. There was a very little flesh content in it. But when I got exposed to the right variety, when I knew that there are almost 300 plus varieties in country chicken and not all varieties are exactly like that, that's when I started consuming it. And I was a person who was not in sync with anything regarding country chicken. But later, when I started realizing about the industry, that when the entire concept got developed. And regarding the back-end challenges, the challenge is not in rearing these birds, but the challenge is in building the ecosystem over here. With Suguna and all such corporates, the broiler ecosystem has been built in a really good way. But the country chicken ecosystem, that's been left behind. And that's where, that's the reason for the 35% higher price. And if we honestly talk about it, when a country chicken is being raised in the backyard, it means that it's being done with no additional cost. Ideally, the investment is zero. So technically, the sale price from a farmer should be very low when compared to the broiler. But the reason it's high is due to just the high demand. It's about creating the ecosystem, and the prices would be eventually coming down. Yeah.
Sir, one question to you. You said most of the farmers in Telangana are slaughtering the animal at the age of 4 to 5 months. But today, according to my small knowledge, the market that demands today is 9 to 12 months of animal, not beyond it. But as per your advice, you said it should ideally be after the lactating period of the animal, which is around 18 to 20 months, if I am not wrong, after the giving the birth.
No.
Okay.
For sheep and goat,
Yes.
the actually pregnancy period is only 5 months. Within 8 months, that should be conceived again from the day of first conception. Again, it has to be conceived after 8 months.
That's right, sir.
So that 3 months period is very crucial. So shepherd want to discontinue from lactating, taking milk from that mother. So that due to hormonal changes, that animal come into heat again at early age. So that is the main reason. Now this shepherds also, we are enlightening them, and we are giving some trainings to rear this lambs in separately.
Okay.
Yeah, by giving some additional feed or milk, they are rearing in a certain, now you can see from Government of India also implementing one national livestock mission program. Telangana is highest, they got sanction of these projects in Telangana. Sheep rearing is a very large scale industry now developing in Telangana. So a lot of this educated entrepreneurs are now coming into this field. So now in next is this repeating this broiler story or commercial poultry story in sheep and goat in Telangana. So we are expecting that one from our people.
One last question, please.
Ina Soni, and I am from Heifer International. And when I was hearing you speak, we work with the smallholder agriculture farmer communities across 3 states in India, where we develop backyard poultry with them, and we are developing forward linkages as well. So where I see the convergence coming, and this is an invitation to the likes of Suguna and all, though you have developed the entire broiler chicken category, but the backyard chicken category is also the country chicken category. There is a demand. And when we talk to people and when we are doing dipstick surveys with them, young mothers are looking for, healthy chicken for their children, which is free of antibiotics, because young girls, they start puberting early because of, the antibiotic, fed chicken. So I think this provides an opportunity for all of us to collaborate. So we can collaborate with the, since the government officials are also here, with the Society for Eradicating Rural Poverty, where you have the women's self-help group. We bring in the training where we work with them because that's our strength in developing biosecure hamlets, and you provide the market. So I think I would really invite all of you to please partner with us, and we can really actually make it a truly circular economy where our, the farmers who are working there.
And I have one more thing that I'd like to add. We were speaking about the circular economy over here, and what's the entire thing about circular economy? It's about minimizing the wastage. If we just observe nature, the things that used to happen long time back, there was a minimal wastage when things were done much more naturally. What we as people did, we made many things inorganically, and we increased the wastage. And now there has been a discussion about the circular economy and reducing the wastage. The ideal value proposition that we as Country Chicken Co have is bringing back to our roots, going back to the nature, and that's where the best practices happen in place. As Praveen was mentioning previously, insects feed on the meat wastage and all these things, and that's the part of the nature thing itself. And yeah,
Great, thank you. Now, I think we conclude this session, and I thank all the speakers today who joined here.